we're gonna try this. I hope the audio is much better than last time. I'm in a pretty quiet area. I don't think many people are here today, but here's my important person speech. It is quite long. Okay. Donald Glover is an important person to me. You can make the argument that he isn't important to society and the greater good, but that argument has gotten harder and harder to make in the last few years ever since Atlanta and This Is America. But it doesn't matter. Either way, he's still important to me. I'll be focusing more on his music rather than his acting roles in stand-up shows, even though both are fairly equal in levels of importance. And to give some background, I started listening to his music during freshman year. I downloaded all his mixtapes from his Sufjan Stevens remix album, Illinois, to his first rap mixtape, Sick Boy, and all the way up to Stone Mountain. I still remember listening to EP when I was working on homework in Mr. Jansen's geometry class. Although I love his mixtapes even more than I love his albums, we don't have time to talk about all 22 musical projects that he's put out. So instead, I'll be talking about each one of his 4 albums and why they are important to me. So, first off, Camp is a very important album to me. I think it was technically my introduction to Donald Glover when my brother played me that CD while we were driving downtown in his convertible. Summed up, the album is about Donald's childhood mirrored with his 2011 self. As a kid, Donald always felt like he never really fit in, but now that he's famous, everybody wants to fit in with him. So it becomes kind of confusing for him, asking himself if they're real friends, or even if he himself is faking all that he is. It's a very powerful message for a freshman to hear, and I think because of it, I've tried to include more people in whatever is going on, so that they don't feel left out like Donald did. It was also good for me to hear, because a lot of the time in high school, I never really knew if I fit in either, even with friend groups that I've been a part of for years, or with clubs that I've been in. But one thing that helped me through that is the last track on the album, That Power. The song is split into 2 parts, the first being a rap about how he doesn't fit in because he's being himself, and how it would just be fake if he tries to change to be the traditional rapper that the critics want him to be. The other half of the song is a spoken word story about a bus ride back from a summer camp that he went to while he was in middle school. A quick summary of that story is at camp, he developed a crush on a girl that he hung out with a lot during camp. But he doesn't know if she feels the same way. He decides he's going to do something about it, and probably the best time to do that is the bus ride back home. So, he tells her how he's feeling, and her response is less than great. So he pretends to sleep, so it's not awkward, and eventually he actually falls asleep. When they get to the drop-off point, she's gone, but some girls that are childhood enemies of Donald are still on the bus, and one of them makes a reference to Donald asking the other girl out. The fact that the girl Donald backstabbed him like that made him form a new philosophy on life. He says, "I learned to cut out the middleman, make it for everybody, always." That one sentence has been very inspiring to me. It helped me be more honest generally with people I trust. And I'm obviously not going to follow that with every single thing in my life, every second of the day, because that would just be way too much and way too personal of information for the general public. But I do think it's still important because it's helped me be more open with my close friends, especially about my feelings, which is very important to me. So, now moving on, we have Because the Internet. At an important time in my life, on a bus ride coming back from camp, I listened to what is considered Donald Glover's magnum opus, Because the Internet. The album picks up right after the album camp, with him getting off the bus. The story is told through a supplemental screenplay, with the title character being referred to only as the boy. The boy grows up in a rich family and lives in a mansion when he's older, not doing much except for partying and trolling on Twitter. Eventually, he realizes that this life isn't fulfilling, and he eventually finds love and happiness. But when he realizes that, and spoilers if you're going to read the script, he gets killed in a police raid. So, the main message of the album, again, is to be... sorry, so many papers. The main message of the album, again, is to be yourself, but with the added message of not to glorify fame and fortune, because that life just isn't sustainable or fulfilling, and just to be generally aware of the effects of the internet and social media. It's hard to find one song on the album that really shows that message, because it's such a cohesive and intertwined thing, with the script and album, and even him staying in character during interviews. Having said that, one song that really stuck with me, for whatever reason, was, again, the last song on the album. It is, Life the Biggest Troll. I think one line that really sums it up, and I'll make it clean for school, and also for myself, is at the very end, he says, "Never gonna reach 1 million. Eventually all my followers realize they don't need a leader. Stay on your own stuff. Don't care what these clones think." And then, yeah, that's the end of the line. Now, this line is, again, more of that inspirational, you can be whatever if you just be yourself line. Which I do believe is a good message, but it's not the main message I took away from this album. The main message I took away is, why should I care what anybody thinks of me? And why should I let that affect me? The answer to both those questions is something that social media tries to give you, by saying you should care what other people think of you, because you'll get more likes and more comments the more you cater to your following, and that should affect you, because the more likes and comments you get, the more your brain will release dopamine for you. But, as I think we all know deep down, this is not a healthy thing, and we're all afraid to admit that. After my first listen through the album, I deleted all my social media for a month. It was hard at times, but I think that the overall experience was a good one. That taught me not to care so much about my social media or my online presence in general. So, moving on, we have Awaken My Love. Awaken My Love is kind of a weird album for me. Weird in the way where I don't really know when I first listened through it all. It took me a long time to like this album, because at first I was just upset that this wasn't another rap album, because I love Donald Glover's raps. But when I read more about it, and I figured out more of the story, or the reasoning behind this album, it clicked, and I really ended up enjoying listening to it after that. The album was written when Donald Glover's partner was pregnant with their first kid together, and subsequently released just a few months later. A few months after his born, sorry. Once I realized that, I could see a clearer and deeper meaning to more of the songs in the album. Donald is warning his kid about the world, while also giving him life lessons and inspiring him to stay strong. My favorite song, which is also the song that impacted me the most, is, again, the last track of the album, Stand Tall. It's a song where Donald passes on some words of encouragement that his mother and father said to him while he was a child. One part that really stuck with me is a line at the end of the chorus, and I'm not going to sing this. He goes, "Smile when you can." I've been listening to the song more and more lately, and I'm really trying to live that line. It's been a really hard year for, well, everybody, and it's been a lot harder than I thought it would be at the beginning of the year. And I won't get into reasons why. Yeah. But this song and this one line have actually really helped me through. It's helped me at least search for happiness in the little things. And I'm still working on living this line though, as I'm sure a lot of people are. And finally, we have his most recent album, 3/15/20. It's an album that came out about a month into quarantine, and it's an album that is all about self-love. Self-love is something that... sorry. Self-love is something that I've struggled with for a long time, and I'm working on it. Again, this year was really hard for a lot of people, including myself, and with that came a lot of heightened emotions. And a lot of times it was hard for me to accept myself in a way, you know. Wait, sorry. Let's start over that sentence. A lot of times it was hard for me to accept myself, and in a way, it's weird to say and probably to hear, but I'm just trying to be truthful. Donald Glover has also struggled with this. In fact, he's been rapping about it pretty much throughout his entire career. Again, I'm going to focus on the last song in the album, which is the song 53:49. At the end of the second verse, he says something that really affected me. He says, never said it even though I probably should. I said I love me. I said I love me. Now, hearing this come from Donald is very inspiring to me. He finally found happiness. He's content. No, he's proud of himself and even loves himself. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I still don't think of myself very highly, and I'm rarely proud of the work that I do, even if I know it's good. I can see a million flaws in it. And it's okay that I haven't mastered this part from Donald, because it takes a lot of time. And it's still important for me to hear that from him, and I'll try to work on actually putting that into practice. So there you go. That's why I think Donald Glover is an important person. He's important to me, and generally has good messages in his albums. His music taught me many lessons, and I'm sure it's taught many other people the same, or at least similar messages. So, to sum it up into one coherent sentence, Donald Glover is an important person because he inspires people and teaches them lessons that, quite frankly, a lot of people are scared to teach. And yeah, there's my speech. Thank you.